Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I am Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, good to see you. How are you tonight?
Nice to see you. Pretty good, although just one quick thing I wanted to announce. In 3 days, the moon will be falling. 3 days. If anyone got that reference, just let me know.
Yeah, now that we got past that awkward segue, so I can't.
You're good.
I can't.
All right,
I'm sorry. We have to reset. I can't.
I'll do.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, good to see you as always. How are you?
Nice to see you. I'm doing pretty good. Just I'm excited for next week because you know what next week is, right?
Of course, it is Thanksgiving, folks. That's
Boom.
right. A week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're filming this on Wednesday. A week from tomorrow is the day where we give thanks and eat a lot of food, and most importantly, watch football
and celebrate Black Friday. Yeah.
No.
Oh wait.
No.
Oh wait, I forgot the holiday sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Pretty badly.
Yeah.
But anyway, watching football is actually a perfect segue into what we're going to talk about today. Because if you watched us the last few years that we've been doing this, we every year around this time we try to do a Thanksgiving football themed episode talking about mostly high school football because, as many of you know, we are both graduates of the prestigious Wellesley High School who every Thanksgiving morning battles it out with the dreaded Needham Rockets.
And for those of you who don't know, is the oldest rivalry in America.
Yeah, oldest continuous rivalry in the country. 129th meeting coming up this Thanksgiving morning in Needham this year. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to sort of take a look back because, see, as we've mentioned before, Kyle played 4 years of high school football, and that includes 4 Thanksgiving games. Now, I played 1 year. I played freshman year, but got to dress for the Thanksgiving game freshman year for the varsity, as did Kyle. But I did not play my last 3 years of high school. But I did, obviously I was at all the Thanksgiving games as a fan. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to look back at those 4 Thanksgiving games from our freshman through senior year at Wellesley High School, and sort of take a look back from both a player and a player-fan perspective. So let's get right into it. Let's start with our freshman year Thanksgiving game, because that one, all 4 of them were memorable, but I feel like that one was kind of the most memorable one for me.
That's fair.
Because, I was part of the team, and, we got to go through practice that whole week leading up to it with the varsity.
Yeah,
and dress for the actual varsity game. And it was just a really cool experience to be able to, even though we didn't play in that game, obviously, to be part of that historic rivalry at least once was, at least in my mind, a very, very cool experience, Kyle.
I agree. Oh, no, definitely. Because that's the one time. Now, normally the freshman football team practices separately from the varsity team. That's the 1 week where they both actually come together and they go through all the same drills. So it's kind of neat. Yeah,
it's one team, one program.
There you go. Yeah, it's kind of nice. It really does kind of show the freshman players, especially if they're planning on moving up to next year and joining the varsity next year, or JV, depending on your preference. It's a good
words.
Oh yeah, it's always, especially on Wednesday nights. No. But no, it's a good kind of taste of what to expect. Although, wait till you get to preseason, guys. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we won't. I think we won't touch that one tonight. But
that'll be another episode.
You're right. I think you did mention that before. But
oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but so. That year, we lost the game, unfortunately. It was 28-21 loss at Needham.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of an emotional game because I don't want to make this episode too somber, but there were a couple of tragic deaths in both communities. I remember in the week leading up to the game. We won't get too much. We won't get too much into that. But it was just kind of a emotional day, and I know Needham had a lot to play for. But like I said, just to be part of just being in the locker room pre-game and just running out onto the field, the whole crowd cheering, and just to watch the game. I mean, and I think and this is going to show something about me. One of my favorite things that happens for the week leading up to was the day after. So the freshman team played Needham on Saturday, and then we started sort of our practices with the varsity on Sunday. After practice on Sunday, the whole football program went to the Wellesley Country Club for a pre-Thanksgiving brunch.
Oh, that was so good.
As I know, I'm sure Kyle went through that the other 3 years as well. But that's what I remember the most. So you got to eat good food. There were people came up and spoke and stuff like that. It was just a really cool, really exciting week and event there.
It's just a nice buffet. It's just kind of like one of those. You work hard in the morning, and then and kind of like the late morning, early afternoon, you just get to sit down, have a nice brunch, and just take it easy, just like a nice Sunday.
That's right. So, and just kind of quickly before we move on, just so your memories from that game, freshman year. I know it was a tough loss, but just anything you remember from that day.
It was tough. That one, I'm not gonna lie. I had a little harder time remembering that one. I actually, just because when you play like a few years of a sport, it starts to get a little fuzzy. Like
things sort of meld together.
It kind of does a little bit, yeah. But it was kind of cool. It was nice. I do remember it was the first time. No, I'm sorry, the second time technically at the Needham field, and I remember it was kind of a nice field. I like looking at that. They had this big giant hill over it and everything. And what was really nice too, though, the week before, to kind of end on a little brighter note for that year, the freshman football team actually won.
So we shut them out. We shut out Needham that year. That was pretty cool. So we were the only Wellesley team that beat Needham. Because JV lost.
Oh, that's right.
And then varsity lost, obviously. So we were the only ones to get the victory.
So at least on the freshman side of things, it was nice. It was.
And we doused our coaches with the water buckets at the end of the game.
Oh yeah.
Coach Corder, Coach Ash, if you're watching.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. But so let's move on. So obviously freshman year was a loss, 28-21. Now sophomore year is where we sort of start to stray into perspectives here, because obviously I did not play, as I said, from sophomore year on, so I was in the stands for all those games, but Kyle was on the field. In the sophomore year game, I gotta say, honestly, from a fan's perspective, was the best game of the four. It was a 14-6 victory for Wellesley at home. I remember that game came down to like the last second. It was 14-7, I forget. But that game came down to like the last second, and like Wellesley got a touchdown run, and we got a touchdown run like the last minute of the game. It was really exciting. I'm sure it was really exciting for you guys being on the field for that as well.
It was actually. I'm going to be honest. That was actually my favorite year I've played in football out of all 4 years. It's funny because a lot of people, I think I mentioned this on a few episodes ago, like on past episodes, but I don't know. There was something about sophomore year I just really liked. That was the year that really pushed me to the limit, to my breaking. Well, not like to just. It really just was a good year for me, just to kind of. See how far I could go. Yeah, that was the turnaround for me. Like, especially going, like I said before, about preseason and all the way at the end of the year, and it just kind of like added up for me. Especially at that one particular game. I remember it was just after the snowfall. There was actually still a bit of snow on the field.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
I just remember this picture in my head. The year before, actually, the varsity game we just talked about in Needham, for our freshman year, was kind of, if I remember correctly, it was kind of a cloudy game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit cloudy. I don't think it was really raining, but definitely was. I definitely remember it being kind of cloudy and overcast that day. You're right. Yeah.
And it was funny because the senior game, the the varsity game our sophomore year kind of started off as cloudy, but then I remember the last touchdown we scored and we won that game, like Robbie said. I just remember like the sky just started clearing up and like you could see the rays of light and oh my god, it was crazy.
It was very appropriate.
Yeah,
it was very sun shining on a Wellesley victory.
Yeah, I just thought that was just a great experience. I think it was just the best way to cap off a really great, just a really solid season of football. So.
Yeah, no, it was an excellent game. Like I said, very down the wire. It was very intense. I remember there was almost like a little mini fight that occurred just before halftime between a couple of the Needham and Wellesley players. So that was a little bit of a it wasn't a big deal, but just remember a couple of guys had to be separated.
Yeah.
Which is you never want to see that, but at the same time it does kind of ratchet up the intensity there. And and one other thing
brings up the stakes a little bit.
One of the other thing I want to bring up about that sophomore year game was the first time you guys wore the red home jerseys.
The fancy ones. Yeah. We had these really fancy home jerseys that they brought us back, and it had this kind of classic look. I think it was
red.
It was just all red.
It was all red.
We're used to
our usual home jerseys up until that point had been black. Black and white, kind of like red stripes. But these were like full-on red jerseys. They brought just for this game. They kept, in the years.
I think
after
we wore them. I think actually all the way, at least through when we were seniors. They might have worn them a little afterwards, but
I think like 1 year after. No, you know what? The last year they wore them was 2009, so the fall of 2009, I remember.
Oh, that's funny because that's the year my sister. Well, 2010 is the year my sister graduated.
But it was her graduating class. So it was the last time they wore them. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty positive.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So now it's interesting you bring up sort of the weather for the games because that's a perfect segue into the junior year game, which was another Wellesley victory. I think it was like, again, 14-6, 14-7, something low scoring. And it was, the thing I remember about that game is it was like really raining. It was like raining pretty decently for most of the game. It was at Needham, obviously.
Why does the Needham games always get the rain? I don't get it.
Yeah. No, but I just remember it was raining for most of the game. I remember being kind of bundled up in my rain gear and stuff like that.
I remember that pretty well. Actually, I do remember that pretty well, yeah.
But again, you guys, we got the victory, which made it all worth it. So again, to sort of talk about, from your perspective, what you remember about that junior year game.
Well, it seemed kind of like... At first, it felt like our freshman year because of the cloudy, and of course, then the rain came on, and it was definitely tougher because of that. But I think we toughed it out. That was another pretty solid year, I would say. Junior year, it was I think it was a good victory. A rain victory is like one of the best victories you can win in football.
Oh yeah, gutting it out in the mud and the slug or what is the and that was before I remember. That was before Needham got the turf field that they have now, so they were still on a grass field during that time frame. So it probably would have been, if I remember, it was pretty yucky.
Oh, it was tough to run in that stuff. Let me tell you. I mean, both schools at that time had grass fields. Yeah. Wellesley, I think, semi-recently got a turf.
This year, yeah.
This year they got
literally 2 weeks ago. They finally opened the turf field. By the way, it is beautiful. So shout out to the Wellesley Field Fund and the people that made that new field a reality because it came out extremely well. Nice. So big kudos there. Yeah. And speaking of Honeywell Field, that sort of leads us into a perfect segue into the senior year game because it's always. The senior year Thanksgiving game, at least in my opinion, is always a special game. Obviously, from a player's perspective, it is the best of the best, so to speak. It's your last high school football game. But to have it at home, I think just makes it even more special. And before we get into the game, because I want to get into that game, obviously, there's a tradition in the Wellesley Needham game where I think it's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, the seniors from both towns get together at the hometown's Rotary Club and have dinner together, and there are speakers and stuff like that. So I just wanted to ask you, Kyle, obviously being a senior on the team and going through that dinner, what your sort of memories are from that, because that's sort of a unique tradition in this rivalry, without a doubt.
It's kind of cool. It does kind of really put things into perspective when you go there. It really kind of like you get to know your opponents, like obviously not in a bad way. At the end of the day, they're just both really, really great teams. They just want.
There's a lot of respect. There really is. I mean, you guys want to obviously pound them on Thanksgiving Day during the game, but afterwards, like, you guys shake hands, and it's just there's a mutual respect between the towns, and you grow up years later, and I've come to find some of my best friends, and even my girlfriend are from Needham, are Needham High alum. So it's kind of like you're so close together, location wise and just town wise that I think I heard somebody say, because Fox 25 did a documentary about the game I remember last year, because they were playing at Fenway, so sort of tying that in. And I remember that there was a comment that was made by I forget who it was.
Okay.
Who said that the other team's kids could just as easily be walking down the hallways at the opposing school. So the Needham kids could just as easily be walking down the hallways at Wellesley and vice versa. And that really rings true. I mean, we're just very similar towns. We don't want to lose to each other on Thanksgiving. No. Other than that, we're very similar, and there's a lot of mutual respect between the towns.
Yeah, it's kind of like brothers. It's like. Yeah, you get in competitions. Yeah, there are times where you want to be better than the other, but at the end of the day, it's like we're brother towns,
And we were, for the record, we were part of Needham at the beginning of America. We were West Needham, and then we broke off to become Wellesley.
Oh, interesting.
So it's kind of like a nice little tie-in there. That's the whole reason why that Thanksgiving game was started. It was sort of a respectful, way to sort of keep the town's history of togetherness, alive. And so it was like a little peace offering, though.
Kind of a nice, that's actually really cool. Wow.
All right, so going back to the Thanksgiving, and now I've taken us down a completely different, completely tangent.
No, it's okay. We're getting this is good. No, this is like we're getting to some history about this stuff. So this is kind of nice, actually. I think people don't like that. So especially people who don't know much about these towns. So. Kind of nice, learning about the oldest rivalry in football. It's good.
Definitely. But getting back to the senior year, the game itself, again, it was at home.
Yep.
It was kind of a cloudy day. I think it had rained like the day before or something. That was kind of muddy.
It was like on and off. So, there was some sun here. There was some clouds. It was,
and obviously,
it was mostly like a white.
Yeah. And it didn't turn out the way we would like, because Wellesley, we ended up losing that game 20-14 in overtime.
Oh, yeah.
But I just want to talk about even just the morning of the game and just sort of the build up. Just thinking, in the back of your mind, I'm sure you had to think like it's our last game, and you've got the senior introduction and stuff like that. So just take us through all that and your sort of emotions from that day, from what you can remember.
So the day of the game. Well, that was interesting because actually this was the first year. It was either our senior year or our junior year where they actually started playing these kind of pump-up videos. They had someone from our TV video class. I believe it was actually one of our friends, Jeff. I think he, at one point, I think he was the one that actually edited the senior year video where it was just kind of like a historical look into the Wellesley and Needham team, the rivalry, and then it brings all back to the present day, or at least at the time the present day, and it was kind of neat. They had this epic movie trailer music. I was all over that stuff, and it really pumped us up before the game. And I think they started so they there was a second year in a row, our senior, that they did that. they first started junior year, and then they did senior year, and I thought that was kind of neat. It really, especially showing the history and everything, it really kind of brings everything to perspective, and it gets you ready for the game. And I really liked it. I thought the emotions were stirring, and it was just it was a heartfelt game. It was just, despite the fact that we lost, it was not a bad loss. It's not like either team got
blown out or something. Yeah.
Like
it was an overtime game. I mean, it was exciting. Down to literally the last play of the game. I mean, you can't. It doesn't get much better than that. It would have been nice to come out on the good result of it. But still, I mean, if you're going to go out with a loss, you'd rather be able to hold your head up high.
Yeah, honestly, because when you lose a football game, you feel one of two ways. You either feel bad and you look back and you said, I could have done a lot better in this game. I think the team, either me as a player or just the team overall, could have done a lot better. They could have had more. I don't know. They just could have done better. But then there's other losses, and this is one of the losses I think that you look back at it and you played your hardest. Both teams played their hardest. That was the type of game that we played, and I really liked that. I don't regret a single thing about that game. What happened. You know what? Needham came out on top. That's just the way it happened. And you know what? Both teams played equally well, so it's just a matter of
There you go. And
who scored most, I guess.
The last thing I want to bring up about the 4 years in general, because I forgot to sort of bring this up earlier, is that one of I think the funnest things about the build-up to the games is the pep rally. The day before Thanksgiving, sort of the last period of school before you go on Thanksgiving break, we have the pep rally and the football team is introduced. And
because usually, I don't know how many other schools do this in the country, but at least with here, it's a half day, so that's what they do. They dedicate that half day. You go to a few classes in the morning, and then you go right in the gym, and that's when the cheerleaders are there, the dance team, you name it.
Everybody,
the whole school, and they get you pumped, and they announce all the names, and that was a great experience. After 3 years of watching players, get their names announced, and when you finally hear your name,
that's the thing, is that's another cool thing. I'm sure the senior year game is that freshman through junior year, and I can attest this because I started participating in it as a freshman. Mm-hmm. You get called as a group. The freshman group gets called, then the sophomore group gets called, then the junior group gets called. But for the seniors, they each get introduced individually, which I think is something that's really special and really unique, because it sort of gives the community and the school one last chance to really appreciate the seniors for all the work they've put in over the last 4 years.
It shows them as individuals, but then at the end of the day, they come together as a team. So, yeah, that's good stuff.
It's pretty awesome to live in a town that has, this sort of historic rivalry, and to have been a part of it and to still be a part of it. Watching it and just seeing it unfold over the years is a pretty great thing. I mean, and last year, as I was saying, they got to play Fenway Park, which was amazing. I know Wellesley lost, unfortunately, but still, it was a really fun time and a great crowd. I know you were there as well. It was just a great atmosphere, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it in high school sports. I mean, that is the one game a year where literally it's a football game, but it's also a social event, because you have all these kids coming home from college, for the first time, and they're sort of reconnecting with their classmates at the game and stuff like that. It's a really great time had by all. And again, this year it'll be in Needham a week from tomorrow.
Hopefully it won't rain again.
It's funny you say that, because they are on the long range forecast. They are predicting a chance for a few rain/snow showers.
Are you serious?
On Thanksgiving Day.
Needham. Stop! Oh my God.
We'll see. It's still a week out, so that could change, obviously. But
I wouldn't be surprised, though, to be honest.
But so 129th game. It'll be at 10 o'clock Thursday morning at Needham's Memorial Field. So try and get out for it if you can. If you're a Wellesley or Needham fan, it's gonna be a good time as always.
Especially this year because the team is really good this year.
Yeah, Wellesley's 9-1. Wellesley's 9-1.
I definitely.
We're coming for that trophy, baby. We're gonna get it done. Let's go. The Wellesley football team, if you're watching this, you better take care of business. Let's go.
Every day.
But all right, so now we're going to sort of wrap up our episode here with our monologues, and mine is sort of news that kind of just broke actually a couple hours ago in terms of the Boston Red Sox, who actually have some exciting news, despite their tough exit from the postseason. And that is Rick Porcello, starting pitcher, earned the American League Cy Young Award tonight as the AL's top pitcher. So, Rick struggled his first year in Boston last year, and a lot of people were very critical of him. And, the fact that he signed this big contract and wasn't really living up to expectations. But this year, really bounced back, did a tremendous job, won 22 games, I believe it was.
Wow.
And, again, earned the AL Cy Young Award, which was awesome. First time in a few years that the Red Sox pitcher has won that award. So congratulations, Rick.
Wow,
and hopefully you can keep it up into next year as well. Kyle, you got anything for us this week?
This week, not a whole lot. I just wanted to talk about just this Thanksgiving weekend. I just want to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving. And guys, don't go shopping for Black Friday. Please don't support that holiday.
No. Please don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Unless you're there to watch people. That's one thing. I understand if you want to watch the cast, go around, but just don't even bother. Just go the next day, or just wait till after Christmas. That's where everything's going to be on sale anyway.
It's not worth it, people. It's not worth it.
Just don't support Black Friday. No, thank you.
That is our Black Friday PSA.
Yeah, pretty much. Don't support it.
Don't support Black Friday. We approve this message. We're on a couch talking sports, and we approve this message.
We're getting very political here on the Black Friday.
The stores and the mall may not approve this, but we approve it.
That's okay.
All right. So, and by the way, speaking of that, this will be our last episode before Thanksgiving, so I just want to wish everybody out there a happy Thanksgiving, no matter where you're going, who you're spending the holiday with. Hope you enjoy it. Eat a lot of food, whether you're watching football or whatever the case may be. Just enjoy, be safe, and hope you have a really nice time with your family and friends and whoever you're spending the holiday with. So that's going to wrap it up for this edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, he's Kyle. I'm Robbie, signing off here. We will see you next time.